I think it's a personal match. Whenever you hire an expert, usually we look for referrals, by people that we worked with before in the past. But with Erica, she just came by and I met her, and I thought she was somebody I wanted to work with, and we started. And I think it's good to focus on not necessarily why you're going to hire somebody initially, but why you're going to continue to hire that person. You're not going to make $1 million off the first time you have with a lawyer. So I'd like to talk a little bit more about maintaining the relationship. I'll tell you, for me, it's timeliness and accuracy, and those are by far the most important things. There's a few lawyers out there, few lucky of us lawyers, who have just a few cases to work on, that they're all huge cases. Most of us have a variety of cases to work on, small, medium, large, which means we have higher caseloads and we have higher demands for our time. We need things done timely. We have to have them done fast. We have stressful clients, stressful judges, stressful situations. We want a stress-free expert. So especially as your first impression, get that done immediately. The first job you do for a lawyer, you go that night and you work on that and you bust it and you get something to them the next day if you can, or the day after. But show them that you're timely, and they'll know if I need something and time's on the line, which happens with a lot of us, we're very busy, I can count on Erica, or I can count on whoever it is to provide something to me timely. Medical record review is a very important, something you have to get right. I'll give you a little example of a case I had. It was a client that had some lumbar discectomy, lumbar back surgery. And I'd asked my assistant, it's a case where I didn't hire a legal nurse consultant. It was a smaller case, and I had my assistant. Said, please look through these records and see if there's any red flags. And she knew what a red flag would be, and Erica will tell you what red flags are: prior back complaints, prior surgical complaints, days when they say that they're pain-free, if they're not, all those things that make your case look bad. So I said, please look through this. She was experienced, she should have known, and she looked through all these records. She goes, no, Matt, they look great. I said, okay, wonderful. So I, of course, did my diligence, and that morning for my deposition, I looked through them, and I noticed about 10 days before our client had this accident, when he saw his regular doctor, he said he's having some severe lower back pain. That would have been a devastating record and a devastating mistake. And I was kind with my assistant, I caught the mistake. But if it was somebody that I hired as an expert, I probably never would have used him again. That would have been devastating to say 10 days prior to the accident, they had a back complaint that was 8 out of 10. Had I not discovered that and prepared my client, my case pretty much would have been over. Worse, had my client forgot about that and not been reminded and said he was pain-free prior to the accident, the case could have been thrown out of court for fraud. Even though it wasn't, it could have been a pure mistake. But that's just one example of accuracy. If you ever read doctors' notes, some doctors scribble, some doctors have awful handwriting, some doctors type notes. Now you have more digital notes, but you're going to have to read everything. You can read through a bunch of hospital notes or doctor's notes. It might be one paragraph or one sentence, such as, client needs, injections, client needs an MRI. It can be one thing that can destroy your case. Well, why in June did the doctor say get this MRI and you didn't have it for a year later? You could have missed that. You could have missed that referral. Anything like that, the defense attorney is looking to pick your case apart. So accuracy is just so important, and it's hard. It's hard to be fast and accurate. It's not an easy thing to do. But take your time, go through these records, make notes diligently, and come up with every red flag you can, because you really can save an attorney's case. If you come up with something like that, or on the other hand, come up with something that wins their case for them, they're going to be very happy with you, or in turn be very disappointed with you. The last thing I'll say about the relationship with the attorney and the LNC is know your lawyer and know your case. And when I say know your lawyer, some lawyers are super prepared. They might give you something 2 months ahead in advance. They might be that concerned if you don't have it to them in 2 or 3 days. Most of us are going to want stuff with a quick turnaround, but know who they are, know what they want. Are they good with email? Are they in their 60s and don't know anything about email? Don't email a 65-year-old attorney, expect him to understand that. Bring it to him in paper. Hence, if you have a young attorney who's good with email it to him that night at 11 o'clock. He'll appreciate it. So know who you're working with. I know this sounds simple, but every lawyer is different. Everybody practices differently. Know who they are. Secondly, know your case. Budget is a big concern about knowing your case. If you have a huge multi-million-dollar case, they're not really going to be concerned how much your bill is. If they have a smaller case, they're not going to see a gigantic bill. So know your attorney and know your case, and tailor something for that attorney and for that case. I think a lot of attorneys do know about LNCs, but I think a lot of attorneys don't know about them. A lot of this stuff they try to do in-house for cost, and they're really making a mistake. I gave a previous example of an assistant that missed a very important doctor's note in a case that luckily I caught. But they need to know that it's not that expensive to hire an LNC, and it's going to make you more money and save you more time. So I think when attorneys realize, affordability versus experts that charge $500 to $1,000 an hour. And they realize I can get somebody that knows a lot for a fifth of that cost. That's going to be very exciting to them, saving them a lot of time. Sometimes you can have thousands of pages, 10 or 12 years of medical history. You have somebody put that together in a little book for you, you can refer to it. That saves you tons of time. And not all the staff is qualified to do it. We have a lot of paralegals and people that have done it for a while, but not real experts in that medical field. And I think once an attorney becomes comfortable, realizes who they're working with and what they can do for them, they'll continue to use them more and more. Also, let them know everything you can do for them. If you can prepare them for IMEs, for CMEs, for depositions, if you have videos they can watch, key points, you can help prepare their client. They're going to use you. So make sure you know everything that you can do for an attorney, and make sure that attorney knows that you're competent in doing all these things. The last thing I'll add is honesty in a case too. A lot of people don't understand this, but some of these experts in these bigger cases, sometimes they kind of tell you what you want to hear, and that's not the way you want to do it. You always want honesty. If you think, hey, you don't have a case, the lawyer wants to know that. If you think there's a problem, tell the lawyer that. Sometimes practicing law, discretion is the better part of valor, and you don't want to waste your time and money in a bad case. So be honest with your lawyer if you think they have a bad case.